do the slideshow.
This meeting is being recorded.
So can we get on the next slide, please?
Yes, we can. Sorry, that recording thing is obnoxious.
I can just tell you since I'm not in control of it. So we will have a special speaker. I don't know if any of you guys know her, Brianna Spranger. I don't know her. Tristan will introduce her, and she will talk to us during the snack times to the families about her life and how swimming helped her. The goals of this presentation and of the whole camp is to provide training on handling of clients with special needs, go a little bit into the benefits of water as a treatment medium, talk about aquatic equipment and how to use it, and to become better support for kids with all abilities in the pool. So logistics and scheduling, the next slide. We're training you guys, volunteers. Then we will have a parent meeting I believe next Sunday, which you don't have to attend. It's going to be in some form or shape, something like this, talking about safety equipment and what to expect. And then we'll meet at the camp on June 25th. So I had summarized from the survey that Tristan sent out to families. We will have 26 swimmers coming so far. And these are the main conditions, all conditions that we're going to encounter. And I did it as hyperlinks so you can click on it and educate yourself if you need to on all of these conditions. So I'm not going to spend too much of your time on that. So next slide, I did again a little summary from the survey that Tristan did to figure out why the families came. So most of the kids or the parents stated that their kids have little or no fear of water. So usually the two biggest obstacles are either that or hydrophobia, which is a fear of water. I don't think we got anybody like that with us at this time. So all kids have been in the pool, but some have very limited experience in the water. Some of them did swimming lessons. Then I don't know, but from my experience, people usually have very limited experience with equipment because what we do in a pool is different than the swimming lessons. We have to be careful about the aspiration. So that's why I am also going to be guiding you and telling you what to look for. And that's why I am so happy that you guys are swimmers, because you will be so much more prepared for this. Introducing a teamwork, and we'll talk about that, and opportunity to learn new skills, and of course, have fun. So on the next slide, I gave you a little bit of the scheduling, how we're going to do it. We divided those 26 kids into 2 groups. So we, I believe, have 15 kids in the morning and 11 kids in the afternoon. For the AM session, we will, us therapists, will get there at 9 a.m. to get everything ready. Then you guys will come in at 10. I am hoping that the swimmers will come with their families and change, so we can start at 10:15 and have instruction time until around 10:50. We'll be flexible and see if we will need to take away a little bit from that free time afterwards. But I didn't want this to be so rigid and just instruction, and then send them off. That's why I built in the free time. And you will be essential to help us. So we will have, out of those 15 kids, we divide into 2 groups again, and each group will be led by 2 PTs, and you will be with those groups helping out the parents. The free time, we will still be in the pool if parents have questions, if you guys have questions. So but it will be free time and we will let them do what they want. Then the changing and snack time with the presentation. For the next one, it's basically the same in the PM, but the times have changed. We also have come up with an idea that Tristan will provide water bottles for each swimmer. They will be labeled with their names, and they will have 2 colors for those 2 groups by their name. And I think we decided for the group number 2 that I will be leading with Christy Wilkins will be dolphins and blue, color blue, and the other group will be orange, and there will be marlins, I think. So I am getting into the good stuff now, handling techniques. The next slide. So as you all know, most important thing in the water is safety and breathing. And in my experience over the years, many people come and they will be trying to handle the child by reaching their legs and trunk and waist, and then talk to each other and totally forget about the face. So that's why I am stressing it, that, and you guys are very experienced, but still this needs to be in our minds. Always keep your eyes on their face, on their mouth and nose. Take time to explore all areas of the pool. Kids have limited experience, meaning that us adults, we've been in the pools and lakes and everywhere, and we can judge by looking at it. Kids have very limited experience, and especially this population. So we will take time to explore every corner of the pool. And I'm also telling you this as info for the future. If you would ever be working in the aquatic environment and encounter special needs kids, it is really helpful to let that happen. And every rail, every surface, everything to hold on to. That leads us to point number 4, how much can the client use their hands? Many kids with disabilities have either because their disability is making them that way, or they have not handled too many things with their hands and always drop everything or have their hands open. They are not used to hold on to things. And for us working in the water and for you as lifeguards, this is a big problem, because if you are going to save someone and you are throwing them that float or whatever you guys have, and the kid does not know how to hold on to it, it's going to be an issue. So that's why I'm making you guys aware of that. Buoyancy versus gravity and how to use it. As we all know, gravity is everywhere around us, but in the water. In the water, we encounter buoyancy, which is a beautiful force. And that's why I love doing physical therapy in the water, because all these kids don't have to bring their walkers and braces and everything else they need on land. And they're able to do so much more. But at the same time, buoyancy is a force that provides resistance. It just depends on us, how we place our hands and how we put demands on the kids. Either it can support or it can resist. So how much assistance is needed to get to vertical position? That's another thing to keep in mind, because their bodies are different and work totally differently. And in many cases, kids need much more assistance to stand up. So just be aware of that. Number 7, position of your hands determines how much assistance you provide. So this is totally from a therapy standpoint. When you are holding someone under their armpits, you are providing quite a lot of support, because you are supporting their trunk if they have a good support of their head. So they don't have to work as hard. if your hands will start to slide down towards the pelvis and under the pelvis towards the thighs, you're providing less and less support. So that child has to work so much harder, which as therapists is we look for that. And that's why we work this kind of way. But sometimes we look for it, and sometimes we have to be more careful and put our hands back up towards the trunk and provide more support. So number 8, splashing. That might be a problem, and you might have seen it with many kids if you did swimming lessons. With this population, it's even a little different because they use that as a sensory sensory stimming. So we will talk about it a little bit more in the following slides, but we need to provide a little more heavier work for their arms, that holding on to something to prevent that. And watch your body mechanics to protect yourself. It is so easy when you're working with kids with special needs, or anybody for that matter. Not only in the pool, on the land too, but when we're working there, I tend to tell everyone, use your big muscles, your muscles of your legs, bend your knees and lower yourself down to take advantage of that buoyancy. All right, so equipment. This is all equipment. We will not have all of it, but for you guys, I wanted to introduce it. So we work with collars, many different sizes and shapes, belts, wings, and pedal jumpers. We will not have pedal jumpers, but I tell parents to get those for safety reasons when they're home. Life jackets, neoprene vests. Neoprene vests are, we will not have those, but just if you're curious about that, it provides more compression for clients that need a little bit more sense of security, and they are maybe hypotonic. If we don't have neoprene vests, I many times tell parents to buy those lycra shirts, those swim shirts that are long sleeve. Even short sleeve will be better than just a small swimsuit. And I started to have kids, even teenagers, wear leggings because they are so in now, and everybody's fine with that. But we can then do all kinds of things, and because of modesty and other things, but also because of sensory issues, we tend to do this. Kickboards, different styles. You know, you're the swimmers, you're probably better equipped in this regard than me, but we use kind of bigger and different shapes kickboards. Tristan got us one that is like a huge turtle, and we'll have that at the sensory station or station where kids might need to go when they need a break. Dumbbells and barbells, you're probably familiar with those. Noodles, again, there are different shapes and thicknesses. It depends on how much buoyancy we need. Flippers, ankle weights. With ankle weights, we will not deal too much. Just for your reference, weights work completely different in a pool than on land. As we said, there is no gravity, so even our body weight changes in the pool. And for example, when you are submerged up to your waist, your body only weighs half of what it would on land. If you're up to your neck, you are basically weighing only 10%, which is the weight of your head. So this can be helpful, but this can be also a big obstacle for some bodies that don't know how to control. So ankle weights in a pool we use for stability, not for resistance. Goggles and snorkels, I threw that in. I am hoping that nobody will bring them. We have no time to work through all of these that I'm talking to you guys. But if somebody will bring them and is adamant about having them, that's fine. I would much rather have kids wearing goggles than snorkels because of breathing, and many of them have issues and don't know how to breathe only through their mouths. So that's all I'm going to say.
I have a quick question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
For the collars, is it kind of like almost like a Hensinger collar where it's like it comes around their neck and it's like buoyant, like it's almost like a vest, but it comes around and in front of them?
Yes, and I will bring, I didn't take pictures for you guys, sorry, but I will bring different colors when we come for you to see. There are different thicknesses and different shapes. There are some collars that are huge. It's called a butterfly collar for those that that have such a strong tone that if you would put something much smaller, they would overcome it and would submerge their head anyhow. Some of them are inflatable. Some of them are made out of the foam, thick foam. I will bring one that is really comfortable for anyone that wants to work on exercises. It's called neck doodle. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. So for little babies, I will bring it, even though we will not work with babies, but for you, and maybe someone will be that petite, but it's really the girth of the neck that will determine. But they are inflatable, they are see-through, and if you search in Google, you will find many references to those as a not safe device and not to be used. I have been using those for 15 years as a therapist. I have always told parents, never, ever, ever leave your child by themselves in these. This is strictly for keeping their head up and helping to support. And some kids developmentally, when they are delayed and don't want to work in standing too much on land, and we bring them in a pool, because they have poor head control and they have this around, they will start to stand because they feel that their head is protected. And it happens much faster in the water, even though that collar is not floating on the surface and doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. So there are different reasons, and for everyone, it's very different. But I have had very good success, and some of the parents are using those in the bathtub where it's supervised, protected, and we are working on different things with those. So next slide is kind of a point I would like you to remember. Speaking of the collars, but everything else, flotation device is meant to assist the child with special needs to perform certain movements or to provide a resistance for the movement. It is not meant to be used to leave child unattended for any length of time. Drowning is silent and always, always supervised. So next slide is just your resources for adaptive equipment. I put there all of these websites that you can look at and search whatever your heart desires. There is a lot out there. So safety training is another big part that I want to talk about. One really great resource is this website, swimangelfish.com. If you would ever be interested in the future to work with kids with special needs or people with special needs. This group is out of Boston. I have been there, and I invited them here to train our therapists, but they have fabulous, fabulous system and YouTube videos and education and seminars and lots of free stuff for people on the website. So you can access it and get whatever you want. I have made a little summary from their latest. They are a PT and an OT that started their own company. And they provide therapeutic aquatic therapy for disabled children in New York and Boston area. So majority of their clients have autism, but they deal with all kinds of things. So these safety tips are drawn from that kind of spectrum. Safety, no response to whistles, poor safety awareness. This means that the kids with special needs, because their auditory, how they're processing, some of them are very, very reactive to loud noises, don't like it. So when we have lifeguards, using the whistles and stuff, they might interpret it completely different, or they just disregard it. And that's why they don't have good awareness of their body. Their swimming looks like they're in distress. And that's why lifeguards should use soft signs. I don't know, I didn't dig into it, but just to make you aware. You might know some things that you can share with us. So water properties, that's why I started to talk about it a little bit. To overcome buoyancy, have swimmers wear long sleeve shirts, leggings, shoes. So we will incorporate this into our session. We will start this way when they arrive. We will get them, Tristan also has t-shirts for everyone. So we'll ask them to put it on if they'll be comfortable with it, and try to do our first portion with the shirts, and if they have shoes, with their water shoes on. Because accidents happen usually when we don't expect them. And many times it's when you are not in your swimsuit. But how many kids have ever been thrown into the pool or jumped into the pool fully dressed? We would yell at them and say, no, 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 you cannot do that. So we will do completely opposite, and we will do that for a little bit to give everybody a little feeling. Interpreting touch. Our population is usually over or underreactive. And if you have ever been in that situation, they start to grab your neck when you are trying to save them. Peel them off, give them a firm squeeze, because kids usually with these kind of problems react better to a firm squeeze. Turn them and go to the wall. Skin is our biggest organ, and try to think what they need based on what everything we will discuss. So this is something, again, that we will, the next point, bullet point, we will not be addressing unless somebody wants to, but managing successful submerging. We need to take a little bit different approach. We need to talk about body parts to get them ready for it, and start to work on blowing. So we are going to totally, with many activities, we have to take it down and disassemble it to the bones, so we can then put it together for them. We need to, as I said, we can use different whistles. This is not the same whistles as we talked about, but there are water whistles that they can start to use, or straws to blow if they cannot just blow with their lips. And then we can work in different depths and in different positions to get them ready for the submerging. And ways of progressing, we have to just be aware that pool is very echoey and noisy. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in the next slides. So inability to go on their back. This many times for these kids has to do with a moral reflex. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a primitive reflex that we are all born with, but it integrates under the normal circumstances. And for those that it doesn't, usually when they're on their backs and when there is a loud noise or they startle, they will splay their arms and legs like a starfish, and they have no control of their body. So that's why with many of these kids, it's very hard to teach them to go voluntarily on their backs. And that's why we have to take that activity down step by step. We can practice it on the side of the pool where they can hold on to and they can just dip their head first, or you can use your shoulder and have them on your shoulder here and their body is in front of you. Seeking sensory input, that's another big one. So you probably have seen kids, as I said before, splashing, diving. Many of them like to just be underwater when the instructor is talking and cannot get them out. And drinking, excessive drinking water. It all has to do in this population with how the nervous system is processing things and how much of control they have of their bodies. So we need to take that into consideration and be very flexible, use our intuition, and use something with that heavy work, which is even instead of just splashing like that with their hands uncontrollably, we can try to take their hands and do, okay, can we make big waves? Or can we push it this way? Or can we get a dumbbell and make huge waves this way? And that way it's already controlled. You're giving them a purpose for their hands to hold on to. So you're teaching them to hold on to a life-saving device. And you are trying to reprogram that brain that just wants to do something that is, especially for autistic kids, they love that and they cannot break it. So I'll talk about it later, but I'll bring it up here that allow it for a little bit, because if we take it away instantly, it will not work. Allow it for a little bit until you get your thoughts, what is your next step? And they get that little bit of stim going, and then incorporate it into some heavy work. So next bullet point is problems with following plans. And this was it with that splashing. Be flexible, follow your intuition, but push for your goals. Engagement and interaction difficulties. Many of these kids will be interested in what we're doing for 10 seconds, and that will be it. That's why I am not making rigid this exercise, that exercise, what we will be doing. We will have to be very flexible. Novelty can help, and changing of equipment and activity. So only 3 more points for the safety. And this is repetition of what we said. Overreactive, anxious swimmers. Heavy work again. That helps a lot. Rigidity. And rigidity in this meaning means that swimmer or instructor are set in their ways. This is the way we're doing it. This is the way I've been always teaching it. This is how you use it, and blah, blah, blah. We cannot work that way with this population. I would tend to say that even with a normal population, but in this regard, it is, you have to be open-minded. We will not be using the pictures. I don't know if you ever heard of in therapy world, but also in the pool, I sometimes use little pictograms. It's like a little tile, and I have a picture of activity, what we are going to be doing next, because sometimes it helps to have that visual in front of them to tell them, okay, we're done with the dumbbell. We're going to go and do swimming on your back. And they can see their 5 tiles for the session and know that when we go through that, we're done. But we will have parents in the pool, so we don't need to go into these extremes. And stroke performance, that's again something that we're not going to be touching in this time frame. At the pool, elementary breaststroke and backstrokes without breaking the water surface. Your swimmers, you probably understand that very well. But if we'll get somebody who is experienced but has a problem swimming, many times I do these, I call them modified swim strokes. So I call it angel arms when they're on their backs and they're just going like snow angels. So they're not breaking the water surface. And the breaststroke is the same thing where they are not going up and down with their heads. So takeaway from all this, teamwork. When we're working with special needs population, we need to work as a team with the family members, with swim instructors, with lifeguards and aquatic therapists. And we need to think outside of box. Observe and listen. Each child is different and focuses under different circumstances. Allow time for that sensory input activities, that little bit of splashing or a little bit of, even if they drink water, okay, take two gulps or something, and then let's blow the straw or something like that. Use visual charts or schedules, what I explained. Modify, be ready to change your plan quickly, use different equipment or allow breaks, and use songs. They love singing. So we will actually have one of our therapists' daughter is a music therapist, and she agreed to come, and she will be leading us with that, with a Itsy Bitsy Spider song or some other songs. And I'll explain in the next slide where we'll use that, and use, modulation of your voice. That's also very important. We sometimes don't think about it, how our voice can affect people, and especially kids with special needs. Many times, kids need extra time to process what we are saying. Instead of just yelling, stop, 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 or kick, 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 we need to say kick, and then wait 5 seconds, and then kick again, okay? And supervise, never leave your swimmer alone. And we said those, even the swim vests and everything else that there is not well designed to protect this population. All right, last slide. We're almost there. So what we will be doing in the pool if everything goes well. So we will come and introduce yourself, please, to your little swimmers and the mom or dad, whoever will be in the pool with us. Observe them, their needs and behavior, and establish communication and talk to the parents and see what works, what doesn't work, or what their experience is. Then let's put on our shirts and water shoes, and we will do that safety training on the wall, which is a spider walk in different depths. We put different depths, but your pool is only 3 feet deep everywhere. So it's just for the future reference. If you ever do this, it is good practice to do it in any depth. It is basically, they will hang onto the wall and sing Itsy Bitsy Spider. Their feet could be on the wall as well, and like little spiders go from side to side. Why we're doing it, and I do this almost every session with the patients, is because you never know, as I said, those accidents happen, and if kid has ingrained in them that at least they can go to the wall and start to go like Itsy Bitsy Spider and get themselves to safety, we will help that family a lot. They're also holding on and learning how to use their hands properly and not just letting go. And it's also a great strengthening and coordination from the physical therapy point of view. So then we will try to do it on different surfaces. I don't recall, are there rails or just the sides, or we'll see. We'll try to touch everything and try it everywhere. Exploring all sides of the pool. So there is the beautiful lazy river, and we'll start at the steps, go towards that, and we'll end up towards the steps again. We will do the singing, and if some kids will be okay with it, we can try to do blowing bubbles, holding breath, and then we will break into those 2 groups. So one group, the orange group, Merlins, they will be doing relaxation techniques using belts, collars, noodles, or wings. And we established that we might have time for like 2 activities to teach them, but it might be more, it might be less, we'll see. In the meantime, group 2 dolphins, the blue group, which I will be with Christy, will be working more on the how to use lazy river. So walking in all directions and using all kinds of equipment for that. And then doing some strengthening exercises with the equipment, dumbbells, barbells. We'll see where we get. And then we will designate that quiet corner. Either people can go on deck if they need to, or stay in the shallow end by the steps. And we'll put some toys there and that big mat, do some sensory activities if they need to step out. So one thing that I forgot in the beginning to say, that I wanted to have you guys, but also parents included, that maybe you have gotten from all of this, that I'm trying to teach the whole family to know what to do with their child, not just handing them off to an instructor, because in the water, we can swim and we can get stronger and know what to do when we can work in it when we're 1 year old or 99 years old. So I'm trying to promote that awareness that pools are not just for swimming, but they're for exercising from very early age. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Beautiful presentation. Ladies, any questions? Thoughts?
I think we're
good
right now on everything right now. Yeah.
Okay. I will send out the recording and the slides to all of our volunteers here in the next couple of days. So just keep an eye out for that. And I can't remember if B or I mentioned, there will be probably 30 to 40 people in the pool during these sessions, just so you guys know. So like B said, it'll be broken into 2 groups. So it might be, 15 to 20 in one group and 15 to 20 in another. But I just wanted y'all to be prepared for that amount of people. Otherwise, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, and Brianna Springer, just so you guys know too, our speaker, Brianna is a swimmer. I think she might, I don't know, does Akron have a club team? Yeah, and she, so Brianna just has one arm, no legs, and just one arm, and is a swimmer. And so she's going to come to camp and share her story with all of our campers, and certainly you guys and the parents and everybody too. So we'll be really excited to have her at camp as well. So cool. I think I've got everything out there that I need to. Be you as well. Ladies, certainly reach out if you have any questions, shoot us an email. As you can tell, I'm more of the infrastructure registration website camper check-in guy, and B has more of the expertise in terms of swimming and all of that. So one of the two of us will certainly be able to answer your question if you have any.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions regarding all of this more technical stuff, even in the future, please contact me. I love talking to people about aquatics.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see
All right. Well, y'all take care, and we will see you between 9:15 and 9:30 on June 25th, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.